This project kind of embodies the true nature of quiet architecture. You know, buildings can be subservient and quiet in the place that they are, but still carry a level of confidence about themselves and be good stewards to their context. When we came out, they had excavated to about 70 feet deep. The floor was below the floodplain and the cave was full of water.
Okay, should be cooking. Make sure that everything sounds and looks good. We can listen to Spotify audio without should be cooking. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay. All systems go. Step a touch for me.
Yeah.
Oh. File. The worst thing we can do is just have all the edits and revisions exist on the same timeline, so that if we want to go back to anything, have that capability to do so. Big thing is getting this long video kind of tightened, buttoned up, ready to go.
The idea here was this was a retreat from their urban life, a place to escape with their family, a place to be contemplative, but there was a twist. The client also has a world-class art collection.
One of the big influences on the design is the client's Brazilian culture. So they're both originally from Brazil, and they wanted to infuse that experience and that culture somehow into the design of the project. They introduced us to this idea of maloca. These structures were sometimes considered, or sometimes used for multi-generational families, and other times they're used for these large gathering spaces. And they all, interestingly, have these very large triangular roofs.
We explored this triangular typology in the language of the entry of this home. Continuous sloping roof guides you from the entry to the terrace below, serving and enter the majority of the home. You immerse yourself in roof guides you from the entry to the terrace below, serving as a datum as you immerse yourself in the landscape. You then enter the majority of the home. It slowly unfolds and tells its story.
Okay.
The site was challenging because it was very steep and there's a limited footprint. Because of that, we embedded the majority of the house into the hill. So the main bedroom wing, the living room, dining room, kitchen, all the entertaining spaces are nestled back into the dune.
But that kind of resulted in this long single-loaded corridor. It became this challenge on how do we make this space still interesting and exciting for the client. What better use than to make this an art gallery?
So the experience of art is part of your everyday passage from bedroom to the public space, to the living, dining, and kitchen.
And she looked at the materials for the house kind of like as a medium or a canvas for the project. It was important to the clients, the selection of the materials should be able to express a sense of time.
The home offers an emotional experience, both raw and sumptuous. You have textured wood siding, you have beautiful copper island with a patina that will change as they live with the house. Corten steel used on the front door and liver system will also weather with natural exposure. And raw concrete floors make a strong presence as the canvas for the furniture, the art.
We're trying to figure out what it is about this client that makes them who they are, and what it is about the way they live that we can really utilize to design around that.
The result is a home that lives as a space for great family connections, but also it's a private refuge from the chaos of urban life and a place to recharge, a place for wellness. It really is a way to slow down life and be connected to nature.
That cooks. I'm excited for this video. I think it's gonna be really good. Courtesy of having just a kick-ass piece of architecture to shoot and as the entire basis of this story. We're kind of on the home stretch here. There's like a handful of like really minute things that we need to kind of go through and touch up. This being one of them. I kind of think this shot's a little bit too quick.
You then enter
So I kind of think that
You then enter the majority of the home. It slowly unfolds and tells it. It slowly and You then enter the majority of the home. You then enter the majority of the
this works. I'll have to,
You then enter the majority of the home. It slowly unfolds and tells its story.
should we cut in sooner from that? What would that look like? My concern is that we cut a little too quickly away from Kevin here, and it feels a little rushed.
You then enter the majority of the home. It slowly unfolds and tells its story.
I think that feels a lot better. I think we just want to cut on her step. Right? Because then we're kind of cutting on like an action.
You then enter the majority of the home. It slowly unfolds.
That's still a little quick. Like complete the step, like right there. And I would even back this off a little bit.
You then enter the majority of the home. It slowly unfolds and tells its home. It's slow.
It still doesn't feel quite right, does it? It's tough because it's like there's no like you cut on the action, but it's like what's the
You
action?
then
Is it
enter
the
the
step
majority of
that
the
we
home.
cut on?
It slowly unfolds.
That feels like it's it, or because we cutting on when she like kind of touches on the railing.
You then enter the majority of the home. It slowly unfolds and tells its story.
Yeah, then we get a little bit more Kevin, and so it doesn't feel as rushed.
The site was challenging because it was very steep and there's a limited footprint. Because
Okay. That's done. 32. Yes, we kind of have beef with this. So, and I also think we're kind of it's like that's how granular that we're getting. Roof. I need to go through and it's this like seam on the rubber roof that we want to try to smooth out. I want to see if I could do it in color grading at first, but if I can't, then we're gonna have to go through and do like a whole content aware fill, and that's gonna be an actual endeavor. So we'll try the easy way first and hope for the best, but fully expecting that it's gonna be a ordeal. See, that feels good. It's like before, we had this little bit of dirt on the bottom. I'm not a big fan of. Looks kind of bad. This way, get rid of the dirt. You could punch in a little bit more, because it's kind of a lot of concrete here, right? What does that look like? Just for fixing gigs. Flip over a little bit more. Get like a little hint of the water.
House into the hill. So the main bedroom wing, the living room, dining room, kitchen, all the
Yeah, I think that feels a lot better. And then we're gonna have to go in and the whole roof thing. Okay, that's complete. I mean, while we're here, we might as well try it. So let's switch over to our color grade. Color grade. So the issue is this guy right here. So disable proxies. I think like just, you know, try the easy way first. I think the strat is just throw a mask over the top of it. Get rid of the softness. Do the line. Let's try just the line first. Again, this might just be easier to go through and mask out and do the content aware fill, but that's all to work. I think what we can do is you. Why is it like off the mask? That makes no sense. Directional blur. I think it's got to be something with the effects of it. Does not play nice together. 'Cause this totally works. Right? It's like a little too... Okay. Yeah. It's back. Again, it's weird that it's not actually going to the mask. It's just kind of doing its own freestyle thing. It's back. Again, it's weird that it's not actually going to the map. Probably bump the Spotify audio up a touch. Yeah, that's totally possible. No, then you zoom out and it's like, what the fuck are we looking at here? Okay, I think we move on for now. Let's get the easy stuff done, and then we'll go back and deal with the hard shit. So turn that back on. I want to just do the easy cropping stuff, and then we'll kind of go into color grading. This shot
Bedroom.
is shaky. Oh. So originally, yeah, we had this guy like that. We just it's like a weird kind of corner to have in the shot. So let's just kind of take that out, put that down, put that up. Touch more.
A canvas for the project.
Yeah, that feels good.
Important to the
I even think we need a deflicker here too. Gotta make notes of this. Deflicker. There. Okay. Shot play out 19. Okay, so this is the shot we want to kind of have it.
The result is a home that lives as
More. And this whole thing needs to go. Like this shot, we're coming up on the end, you know, and we want it to be powerful. And I don't think that this shot is like the strongest that we have. So I think we take it out. Proxy back on.
the result is a home that lives as a space for great family space for
Yeah, I think that's where we cut it.
for great family
Talk about switching it with a shot. Switch to editing. Add. Cut on the back side. No majority of what I shot here is drone. Maybe kind of get the sauna. It does have a but that's something. Get a little sauna action, you know. I think we want the pool. I think the pool is like the strong, exciting part of it. I don't think any are really doing it for me. Perch. That's. I think that's stronger. That's way stronger. It's got dimensions, got layers. Why did I put this in green? So like I organized all my footage where like green's okay, blue's pretty good, purple's great, and then orange is like absolute must use type stuff. Like this is orange. I put that shot in green. That's disrespectful to myself. Like, come on, that's a great shot. That, I think, chunk up.
But also, it's a private refuge. The chaos of urban life and a place to
You kind of want all this to breathe just a little bit more too.
live.
Like, we want this to play out.
Space for great family connections, but also it's a private refuge from the chaos of urban life and
It's weird to
it's a
cut in on
private
the.
refuge from the chaos of urban life and a place to
We almost want it to be there, and that goes here.
Also, it's a private refuge from the chaos of urban life and a place to recharge, a place for wellness.
Like, the cutback doesn't make any sense. Like, what's the point? You know, like, it's kind of.
It's a private refuge from the chaos of.
So I almost say we trim this up a touch. There. And then this goes until that point.
From the chaos of urban life and a place to recharge, a place for well.
Cut back on wellness. Oh, there we go. Oh, I know why. I've been playing a lot of Path of Exile lately, and then I have keybinds on my mouse, and I have it set up for all my different programs and stuff, and I was playing on the Path of Exile program. That's why I was acting all weird.
A place to recharge, a place for wellness. It really is a way to slow down life and be connected to nature.
I think we can almost go like 3 shots here, right? Like, because we have context. Okay, we have these shots, which don't get, which are rare to use, because it's not always about the home. It's about creating an environment, setting a scene, creating a mood, finding a mood. And most of the time, that involves picking up shots from the site that aren't necessarily of the home. It's about the nature, the environment, what's the mood around the site, and how can we kind of bring all this together. I think this is where you maybe do a couple cuts to this. And then we have to add in our sound design as well to really bring this home. Hold on. Are we cooking?
It really is a way to slow down life.
Oh, maybe.
It really.
I think we can do like a couple cutaways here. We have nature. I think we go to the cranes. These guys were my favorite the entire shoot. I really wanted to get them in this shot, but they weren't that cooperative, shockingly enough.
Really is a way to slow down life and be connected to nature.
Cutaway. Big shot. Hold on.
It really is a way to slow down life and be connected to nature.
That's so much stronger.
It really.
But do we need 2 cutaways? We like odd numbers.
Really is a way to slow down life and be connected to nature.
Like, this to this is perfect. The way it lines up with the music, the shot transition.
It really.
We need to cut away sooner.
Wellness.
Cut away.
Wellness. It really is a way to slow down this. It really is a way to slow down life. And
So it's 2 bars of 4.
this, it really
2, 3, 4. So it's like 4 times signature. Do that to. I don't know if the dudes are it. Wait. Mints? They are. Hold on.
it really is a way to slow down life and be connected. Wellness. It really is a way to slow down life. Wellness. It really is a way to slow down life and be connected to nature.
Gotta be sooner. Hold on. Okay, this plays whole chunk back. This is what we're working on here.
The result is a home that lives as a space for great family connections, but also it's a private refuge from the chaos of urban life and a place to recharge, a place for wellness. It really is a way to slow down life and be
I think we gotta wait sooner.
chaos of urban life
Recharge.
and a place to recharge,
There.
charge, a place for wellness. It really is a way to slow down life and be connected to nature.
Because that also helps reinforce what he's saying at the very end of being connected to nature. We're cutting away to shots of nature. Cooking. I think this.
Charge, a place for wellness. It really is a way to slow down life.
Is he?
Charge, a place for wellness. It really a place for wellness. It really a place for wellness. It really is a way to slow down life.
Just a touch longer.
Really
And I think that maybe it's this shot. That's my issue. I like being able to see the lake. I think that kind of ties things in really nicely. Maybe just a little bit of a tighter shot. And then we give it like just a really slow zoom. Because then it kind of matches this, right?
it
Because this
really
is focus pull from
is a
back
way
to
to slow
front.
down
That's
life.
a little too intense. All right. It's focus pulling from back to front.
really is a way to slow down life. And it really
Right. So that's that. Just want to reframe it a touch. So 1.10, and then we want to go to 1.16. Right? No. 0.10, 0.16. Seems right. Hold on.
is
I would even tell you back a touch. Like, what?
really is a way to slow down
Yeah.
life and be connected to nature.
Cooking. Okay. Like the ending. We do have to go grade those shots though. That's not a big deal. Alright. And that just started with that's why we do these review sessions, man. Like, there's no way I could ever just send a video and it'd be like, hope you like it. and they're like, everything's great, send it. Like, a lot of this stuff comes out from these conversations, these back and forth dialogues we have about the thing, like what's working, what's not working. Hey, we really like this shot, let's let this breathe out, which is where this whole thing originated from. And then that kind of came into, like, we found that shot, we're like, that's pretty good, and then we're like, wait a minute, that kind of cuts in weird to like where he's saying, so let's kind of adjust that. And then that brought us to this whole, like, let's get a couple really nice detailed nature shots before we come back away to the house. That brings it full circle of connecting it to nature. And I turn the notifications off. And it's like that's why we do it. That's why, like, having these, you know, our revision sessions go an hour and a half usually. And most people, the first time we do it, is like, we really need an hour and a half to kind of go through this. We can just tell you what to do and you'll do it. I'm like, yeah, but, you know, like, this dialogue is important to have because I think it makes that video so much better. And I think this video, the starting and the ending of a video is arguably the most important. And I think this just made the ending of this video exceptionally better. Please hold. Business things to do because fortunately I don't just get to play a Make-A-Wish streamer. It's just like a wannabe streamer all day. Okay. A handful of other little things to kind of take care of. The cut in of this shot
On the design,
so we want
is the client. One of the big influences on the design is the
cutting like here.
is the client's Brazilian culture. So they're is the client's Brazilian culture. So they're both from originally from.
No, look down. Right there.
Client's Brazilian culture, so they're both originally from Brazil.
That works. Do we just let this shot play out then?
One of the big influences on the design is the client's Brazilian culture, so they're both originally from Brazil.
Because
they're both originally from Brazil.
Yeah, we can't have that. It's gotta be that. I think that's okay.
Both originally from Brazil. Both originally from.
And I think that allows us to kind of clean this up a touch.
They're both originally from Brazil.
We can't have a cut on a cut, right? Like, we're cutting the audio here, we're cutting the video in here.
Both originally from Brazil,
and it feels a little too jarring if you do that.
That experience and that culture somehow into the design of the project.
Yeah. Okay. Rid of that. Crop in front entry axon. That is this. So we're thinking about just completely getting rid of a lot of this stuff. I push it as far left as you can, as far up as you can, down. Get rid of those telephone poles, because like that's an eyesore right on the right.
Serving as a datum as you immerse yourself in the landscape.
And have it zoom. Oh no. I forgot. Okay, so that's what we want it to be. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. that's get rid of that.
Below, serving as a datum as you immerse yourself in the landscape.
I think we may have to position it. Okay, yeah. Because I think we have to slightly move it to the left. More flexibility. Because I don't want it to go so far off screen.
Guide you from the entry to the terrace below, serving as a datum as you immerse yourself in the landscape.
Kind of keeps us in that same spot.
You then enter the from the entry to the terrace below.
Would maybe even brighten up the water over here. But that's the main. I think I wanted this. Top of the house doesn't have seam. This is another shot that we're gonna have to go clean up the roof. Seven. Oh, straight. Two. So, if you're not in the world of architecture and design, architects love everything to be vertical. Like when you're shooting a project, a home, you want all your like vertical lines on the house to be perfectly vertical. And when you're shooting, usually you have like a little bit of a perspective shift if you're like tilted up a little bit or tilted down. And most architectural photographers will use something called the tilt shift lens, which you can angle it down, but you can shift the lens up, or like you can stay straight on, but you can shift the lens down so you can get that proper like heightage you want without actually destroying the perspective. We don't do that with video, for better for worse, so we have to go through and manually do it after the fact. So what I have to do is I have to make a grid, make it a little lighter, and then I have the transform on it, and so we're basically taking all the corners of the actual home. Yeah, this is not vertical at all. Holy smokes. But I missed this. And we're just pulling corners to inevitably make it vertical. The biggest thing is you really got to make sure that your edges are vertical, because those are aligned up with a square frame. They're the most noticeable when they aren't. Like that. Okay, so that, right? Before, after, before, after. So like you have this really like everything's kind of perspective shifting upwards. Like all your vertical lines are like kind of angling in, and then afterwards everything's nice and straight. And then we have our adjustment clip on top, so we just zoom in a touch to get rid of any of the black borders. Look at us go. Oh, we already did that. Yep. Out. Blow under door. Done. That's done. Okay. So we have a couple color shifts that we have to go do. The biggest is here. Wood tone is always the single hardest thing to shoot with, because depending on the lighting, you get very dramatically different tones in the wood. And so a lot of the time after the fact, we kind of have to go in and fine tune things. And so like for here, we originally had color grade. Yeah. Go. Second. So just making sure everything's up and running. Okay. So this is like the kind of the original tone. It's a little yellow. It's a little too saturated. And then, so what we're trying to do is we're just going to go in and we're going to take out a specific color and be like, hey, take everything that's this color. The hardest thing to do here is to fine tune it. So that we're only selecting wood tone. Okay, based on all these properties, this is what I want you to select. Up to touch. So we want to drop the saturation for sure. Keep it a little bit toned down, and I'm almost thinking kind of wanna shift away from that yellow. It's like, I mean, we could go like crazy with it, right? Go straight pink. That feels a little green. A little magenta. Mark it there. I think that's the way, right? It's a little lighter. It's a little less saturated. And then do we need to go in and make this shot a vertical one? I'm actually gonna develop this. Yeah, it's not vertical at all. Feels good, right? Yeah. Just a touch.
She looked at the materials for
And then we have a couple small nuggets we're gonna have to clean up in here too. Go back to the color grading. So the issue we're having is this glow on the door. So best bet for us is to do something like that. Take out all the softness. There. Just desaturate. Why? Do this. Okay. It's like not lining up with the, okay, we're gonna turn it off and turn it back on and see if that fixes it. But for some reason, like our mask isn't lining up with what we're actually trying to adjust. Please load. Okay. Oh. So it's saying that image adjustment is the issue. Hey. Okay, but then if I turn the image adjustment back on, does that screw me? No, but it does change the mask position. It doesn't change where the actual adjustment goes. Okay. We're learning. This job is just like an ever-ending pit of like stuff to learn. IMO. Like there's so much to kind of gain from this stuff. And it's like if you tried to learn everything before you started, like you would just be overwhelmed and wouldn't get anything done because you're just like we have to do everything. And the question becomes is, does this look good? Go full screen. Full screen. It's better. It's still a little bright. I mean, I don't know. We make it black. That's arguably more distracting. We're kind of playing around with it right now. There's no definitive answer for how to resolve this. It feels like the way to go. Dark. Ooh, that's it. Okay, you have, it looks like literally nothing in this view, but if you go back, it feels better. It's still a little heavy on like the edges here, on like these edges, so maybe let's kind of bleed it a little bit more. Hold on. Yeah. Do this instead. Because what this allows us to do is just add a softness on the outside. Oh, but it doesn't allow us to add a... Oh. Oh. Oh, look. Right, just kind of let it expand out naturally. Okay, we don't have to be so aggressive with it, right? Okay, again, this probably looks like nothing, but just need to dial back a little bit. Bring a little bit more saturation in. And track it. This is not going to track well. Maybe it will. Kinda, sorta, not really. Okay, all that work for that.
Yeah, more
That. They're off. Black strip. Underneath the... You almost think that that's better. Just don't overcook it. Issue with this is like it's so small. I think it's an issue. Oh. Subtract data. Oh. This the whole time. Question with this is like, is it gonna not? Okay. Welcome to the part of video editing that nobody shows you, where we are going to sit and look at 10 total pixels for about 30 minutes while we figure this out. Maybe fit it. Yeah, we're at 400% zoomed in, looking at 3 pixels. Now, see that the issue I have with this is it's blading for some reason. Like, it's not smooth. I don't think activate that to get around this. That helps. I would argue throw a little blur in there too, maybe. Lensy blur poo. We're overcooking. We are overcooking. We're definitely overcooking. Okay. Hear me out. What is this song? Not the vibe. hold on, let me find a different track to play here. Oh, here we go here. Okay. Hear me out. Famous last words. Okay. So, two. Rock. Hear me out. Okay. Bottom or to right. That. Below. Soft. Because that is as small as humanly possible that I can go. Okay. So we have this. So what we're gonna do, about a couple pixels. We're gonna turn this one back on. Couple pixels. Little rotate. No, compound clip won't work either. Right? Or does that look worse? Sparkles coming from. That's so weird. Doing that. Oop. Okay. Extra sort. Because like the content aware fill isn't gonna work for this. Like I know that's not gonna work. So I think we go and grab it still, export that still, just throw it on the desktop. I have to go to Photoshop. In viewership tanking because we're literally looking at 10 pixels, but it's like this is unfortunately what I have to do. So the solution is we're in Photoshop and polygon lasso. dun, dun, dun. Layer, no image, no edit. To where fill, and then say do not do anything with this door. Down here. Really should just be that. Why? Right? Doesn't that look perfect? So, take you, file, export, PNG. Cool. Okay, that's cool. Just fucking export the PNG, Adobe. I'm not gonna update because if I update, it'll probably crash. Adobe's historically pretty terrible. Effects, door, door, door. Cut so far in the background, we get a lot of wiggle room here.
And she looked at the materials for the house kind of like as a medium or a can.
Right, all that work
And she
for
looked
what?
at the materials for the
For it to look perfect.
house.
No one's
kind of
gonna
like as a
know.
medium or a
Chat,
can.
don't tell anyone that we just
House
PNG'd
kind of like-
over this thing. And if I put my adjustment clip on it, it'll be fine. We're fine. We're so fine. We're so back. Fuck, we have to do that again. Which software are you using? Okay, so for editing, like what we're looking at right now, this is DaVinci Resolve. This is where I do all of my video editing, all my color grading. For what we just did is I went to Resolve. I basically took a still of this shot. I then went into Photoshop with this original shot. And I went to, we wanted to get rid of this glow on the door. And so what we did is we just took this whole section. We did a content aware fill, and then it ended up with this little sliver. And so we exported the PNG, took that back into DaVinci Resolve, put it over the top, and then tracked it. And so it looks totally fine. We have to actually go in and do that one more time because do that for here as well. Out. right? And we're doing the same thing for this guy over here. File, export, door, range. Wherever that first, I think it's here. Yeah. I'm even kind of partial to pause. There we go. A little bit, or maybe not. Maybe not. One second. Chat, we're getting nuggets. Yeah, I can. Also need to rotate it. We'll deal with that later. Right, like we like the light that it, you know, gives us, but we don't like the actual little lighty dude that has. Right, like we like the light that this little range thing is kind of casting onto that wall behind, but we don't like seeing the actual light. Yeah, and because like these things are so small, we do kind of get to cheat a little bit and just take the PNG, track it in, call it a day. We do, however, have to go in and fuck it, we probably just do it right now. Maple Glades, how we doing? We're doing good. We're on the home stretch of finishing this film we've been working on for a while. We just got, I think, one of the last rounds of feedbacks. A lot of it's just kind of getting to the nitty-gritty details. So for about a half an hour there, we were punched into about 4 total pixels to dial everything in. It's been good. I should probably change my Discord name because it's completely different than what my Twitch name is here in your photo Discord. Change it. You change. Wait, you can change my name, my nickname in the Discord, or how it shows up. Yeah. So I think we actually are gonna have to export this chunk and then bring it into After Effects and then do our content aware fill from there. If I can double check. I mean, it's probably easier for me to type it out in chat. It's Tyrannus. It's a gamer tag I've been using for ages. It's Count Dooku's Sith name. And I never have issues with people taking it whenever I make a new profile anywhere. So that's always been like the default. Effects. Kitchen raw. Oh, select file source name. Fill. Add to queue. Render it. Oh, sweet. Appreciate you doing that, Maple. Yeah, because I was trying to figure out if I could change it on my end from like server to server. But it was just like you have to full commit to the whole change or nothing else. You can change nickname from server to server. Yeah, okay. Then I'm just missing it. Content fill. Okay. Go here. Body. Whole thing. Yes.
The
All
materials
that
should be
lives.
able to.
Little punch in the beginning there. Hold on. Is that just? Yeah, it's doing like a little punch in as if it's not stabilized all the way. Stabilize. Honestly, just reset it. Do it again. Kitchen fill. Kit. Keep it. Or close the fire. Keep single flip. That's why. Render. Their base around Twitch don't matter so much when you can on live stream. I can stream it to their other name. Yeah, I can imagine. It was the slowly phasing away from that name and stuff, but I think for the most part, in terms of like online stuff, I usually try not to use my real name if I'm doing like an Overwatch match. All right, After Effects, kitchen fill. Let's go. What's your stuff been going, man? I haven't seen you out. I've caught you, I think, like once in the streams. Just was like lurking behind the scenes. That could be one. Brown. Yeah, usually chatting photo-based stuff. IRL tech. Walking around sprinkled in. Had a really good IRL test the other day, actually. Hey, that's actually pretty cool. Are you doing like a come shoot photos with me type of thing, like in the field? So how are you running that? It just, well, I guess you could probably just run it through phones nowadays, huh? Just do this one at a time. That's what I'm thinking. I was running the R6 too. It's HDMI to capture card to a dongle into a phone. Holy smokes! Transmitting that signal to OBS at home. Switch to photo. That's cool. Oh, so like you people can see what you're actually shooting. I've like, what gave you that idea? That's like a crazy, like I've never heard of anybody doing that before. Use audio, but you can see my camera settings. No, I think like the being able to see that's probably super valuable. Save that. That. Here. There's our reference frame. Fill it. That's a cool. That's a pretty sweet idea. I imagine, is that like overloading? There's a few people who do FTP transfer with their transfer to a server opens for each other to put up the tree, which is super cool. However, it's annoying. No, I can imagine. I mean, the fact that you're able to get it work is like, that's pretty impressive, man. Even if there's, oh, I gotta track that. Stop. What do you mainly shoot? Like, do you shoot for, I imagine you do this like professionally full time? If you're like doing streaming and stuff with it? There we go. Now we can fill it. So swap the R6 II for the GoPro mount. The electric long. It's got the electric longboard. I gotta. So I used to like Casey Neistat, I think was like a big inspiration for me when I was like just starting off, and I was like a big skateboarder growing up, and then I got to college, and so I got a longboard, almost got hit by a car, and like the car, like I had to jump off my longboard, and my longboard kept going, car ran it over, and I had to like chase this lady down to get her to stop, and like the police came or whatever, and I was like, I'm fine, I just want my longboard. I just want, and so she was like, just, you know, like send me the information and I'll purchase you a new longboard. And so I'm like, it's probably worth like $250. It was worth like $100, $75. And then I sent her one. I'm like, hey, buy this one, and it was like $250. And so I got like a new fancy longboard. But like the electric longboard, man, that was the dream to get eventually, but I was just like, I'm a little broke college boy, so I can't afford. Yeah, but I low-key despise he never wore a helmet. Yeah, he was kind of, and even like the stuff he was doing with the drone, he was just like the poster child for like being problematic. Or just like, you know, fuck safety regulations. Just like, I don't know, to a degree. Especially when you're that big, I feel like you kind of have to have like some duty to the public to kind of like promote, you know, being safe, health and well-being, and not breaking the thing. Supers are not stable and strong enough to go to big enough to hit a crack. Yeah, even just like on a longboard, like you're cooking downhill, you hit one bump the wrong way, like you're getting set. I have like a massive scar on my elbow because I went down this massive hill on my longboard trying to impress a girl in like high school, and it was either go directly into a busy four-way stop or jump off and bail and then go from there. And so I ended up bailing. Yeah, I can imagine, because like boosted boards get like what, 20-25 miles an hour. Like those puppies go fast. I got to ride one a little bit. It's like someone I knew bought it in my hometown, who's also like a videographer type of thing. They're a lot when they're in vlog mode. Pawns the content mostly dialed in. I can imagine. I mean, I don't think you get to that level of like success, what you do, without being like a little bit crazy, right? Like I don't think like most normal people aren't gonna do that or commit to it for like that long. 30 miles an hour. Yeah, helmets and bigger tires. No, that makes sense. I didn't Boosted went under though, didn't they? So like, you can't even like get the boards. It's nowadays are doing the electric scooters. So it feels like that's like the big. Still there. Depot. Randomly. Instead of a Hurricane, fantastic choice, honestly. That's gonna be like my irresponsible purchase of the next year. It's just I don't think I would get a lot of use out of it. I think like that's my concern. Because like I got a ton of use out of it in college, just because like that was like my mode of transportation. It's doing alpha expansion, that's why I don't want you to do that. No, perfect frame. Where's the fill? Like 2. Generate fill there. To Montreal, 3D Toronto, like onboarding to this city. Yeah, I mean, I live like near DC, so that like might be could have been the play, but like we're moving here soon, so, and we're moving to a suburb, back in Wisconsin, And so Wisconsin, historically known for cornfields, and so it's like the commute to it would be like 7 years. Red dress shoes with a wooden sole, a cheap secondhand store, so I can slip them on the longboard. Foot brake and knob through another pair of shoes. That was wild when I was like first learning how to longboard. I'm like, how do you brake? And they're just like, drag your foot. I'm like, okay, I guess that's the thing we do. It saved my life. Yeah, is super nice. And I had one of those ones where and then when I lady broke my longboard, got the new one. That one was more like a carving longboard, so it was like super sensitive to like weaving back and forth. So like in architecture school, we would be like working till like 2 a.m. and then I would go longboard home, and there's nobody on the road on campus at 2 a.m. And so I would get to go down like this crazy hill leading to like where I lived, and I just got to like go like back and forth carving, and like that's how you would like control your speed. But yeah, most of the time it's drag your foot and hope for the best. Like your longboard is like snowboarding year round. If you have bike lanes, it's worth the investment even for the fun. Yeah, that's the issue with like DC has it's some infrastructure in terms of bike lanes. Like the US, I think, does a really bad job of like urban planning type of thing. And so all target frames are completely opaque, no bills to hold. What? Build it. Did. Okay, so I'm not worried about it. Sorry, I'm trying to. No, I think I delete the mask and I start over. I'm just trying to figure out how to do multiple fill masks on this thing. So there's not like a ton of bike lane infrastructure. Like New York is such an anomaly when it comes to that stuff. I think Chicago does a pretty good job. I haven't spent a ton of time in LA. San Francisco's, I think, also does a pretty good job about that stuff. But so you kind of have to be like either in traffic or hope like that the sidewalks. And even with the sidewalks, like you're going so fast that it's kind of like less safe to be on the sidewalks than it is to just like be with the cars. Yeah, there's a couple like pretty nicely done trails around where I'm at, where it's like it's paved and everything. And no, not that. Frame 2. That I think I could do it on. So stop chatting again. Sounds good, man. Enjoy. The lights on the backpack, lights on the board is so stupid, I swear. I mean, at night, I feel like at night is worth like the amount of times I've almost hit somebody like driving to the airport and they're running in all black. Automated. Oops, you're good. And I've almost hit them because they're crossing the road, and I'm like, oh, just like wear a reflector or something, like come on. Can't manually board on side. So there's a hill. True. Then I did to stacking both of them. Yeah, it's okay. It's stacking them. Okay. Look at that. Love to see it. But why is this first frame not? Oh, it shouldn't have. That's right. Yeah, that cleans up this section. And I mean, we're doing it. Send it. Hold on. I can do this. Subtract. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Now we're cooking. Subtract. Dink, 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 dink. Subtract. Subtract. Try to get rid of all these like can lights on top. Probably add videography, other stuff to your tags, by the way. But we could do, yeah. So I was looking into that. It's like 4 is what they were like recommend, like 3 or 4 tags is what they were recommending for that. Should I be adding more or less? Instead, if you do more, then it just kind of like graphing. So added. If you're already a huge share, it's like only define no tag, no fine. Fair enough. So just add them all. Use all. Was it 25 you get? You're buried at the bottom of art. I mean, yeah. Spell 10. Got it. Another video. Talk to me. Chats. Yeah. No, it's been nice. See what other people are up to. You're gonna try to be a little more. See what else is going on in that Discord. It's work, man. It's tough because it's like this is like my full time. The shooting, editing, all that stuff, and then right, like 2024 as like a creative, you don't get to the luxury of just kind of creating. Like you have to be like that online personality in a sense in order to like continue to grow, continue to like bring in clients, like open up new opportunities. So like balancing all that stuff is, it's work, man. It is work. No, that makes sense. I appreciate it. You're not streaming to the void. No, it's so true. This has been like my I think the earlier time slot is also helping in terms of what we're doing. It's doing the later time slot, but I don't think the later time slot is like working. I think the earlier is the better. First half of the day type of thing. Yeah, we'll get there. I'm in no rush for any of this stuff. It was really like I think the push to do it was like, having homies who kind of like, we all like, I have one who's like a music producer, and we're talking about like streaming and just like the whole strategy behind like being a creator nowadays. And I think that's the direction I want my business to kind of go in, is just being able to what is it, at the end of the day, it was just like more opportunities to like shoot architecture. And so it's like, okay, how do we do that? Well, it's the social media following, for better for worse. The bigger you are, the more opportunities that come your way, the more you're able to kind of leverage. I think it's like if you're able to get sponsors, then you're able to go shoot projects for free and get it covered by a sponsor. Like I can be like, hey, I want to shoot this home that you designed, and get sponsorships on it. And so that was kind of like the snowball into like, well, I think streaming is probably the way to do this, on top of like the content I put out there, because it's it's a way for me to kind of build in public in a way. You can get content out of this. Such a difference between photography streams and people editing reaction to reality TV YouTube video. What do you mean by that? Like people who are just like editing photography versus people who are like editing videos? Some art composition of reaction to reality YouTube video, cinematography, right, etc. Editing slapper. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Like most of it's like the latest Mr. Beast type video thing, and not really, hey, I'm like editing this, like, produced really well, shot really well, stories there type of thing. Yeah, I see what you're saying. But it's like the I don't, at least for me, this whole train, that's it, Sag. I think photography's been just like editing a YouTube video. Yeah, architecture, videography. Is like at least in like my world, in the world of architecture, like people, it's so new. Like photography is such like a mainstay staple, and to even like one kind of convince architects to shoot this stuff, to like, hey, like there's value in capturing your space like this, in storytelling the design and like how things are the way that they kind of came to be, is tough. And so that's why I feel like what we're seeing now is the big influx in like YouTube editors, because that's kind of what most videography, video editing stuff is nowadays. I mean, you get your, I think to like younger people, I think you get your corporate stuff, you get your real estate stuff, and then you get people who are, you know, trying to shoot and create short films, which is a whole different animal. And then I think a majority of what's out there is just like YouTube stuff. And so that's what is like kind of filling that void at the moment. Whereas like, I think there's less than 10 people doing architecture videography as like their craft in the US, and like we all know each other too, which is really funny. So it's very much like, it's where I see the industry going, it's where I kind of see everything going. It's just a matter of like time for kind of everything else to catch up. Okay. I should have edited Southern Mask all at once. That's what I should have been doing. Yeah, I totally get it. I mean, I think, right, like what's like the number one like profession that kids say they want to be nowadays is like everyone wants to be a YouTuber, everyone wants to be a Mr. Beast, or a, you know, in my day it was like the PewDiePie type of thing. Yeah, I don't know. I've been trying to encourage the photographers that I shoot with to, because a lot of the times is I will come out to a site and hold on. Is a lot of the times I'll shoot alongside a photographer. So like an architect will bring out a photographer to like shoot the home, and then they'll bring out a videographer, me, to take video of the home, interview the client, interview the architect, and kind of put that all together. And so most of the time with residential, you have such a small window to kind of shoot it that we end up having to double up. So there's a photographer on site and there's a videographer on site, and we all kind of have to shoot this whole thing in 2 days and work around each other. 9 out of 10 times, it goes really well. Like we're both super collaborative. We're both super, you know, like we understand, like we're both here for the client. We're both trying to get the best shots. Let's figure this out. Let's schedule it. But with that, like I've ended up just kind of like making some like pretty cool relationships with some like really great people who do some phenomenal work. And like I'm always trying to like encourage and nudge them. I'm like, you just like share your work, share your process. Like I think streaming is a jump for them for the most part, but I'm like, even just throwing out like a couple behind the scenes things, get some behind the scenes photos, video, or just talk about your process and just document it. Like I think there's so much value in that. And not to mention, I think that gets you out there more and opens up a lot more opportunities than to if you were to just post your finished work when it's done. Sake of it, famous for somebody's health, it's not good for the world. Yeah, I think that's, I don't know. I think people want, it's like people either want the things that come with the fame, right? So the cars, the house, the lavish vacations type of thing, or they're just like I want to be Mr. Beast, for like what you say, just fame for fame's sake. And it's like that's not healthy. It's like I think I think Mr. Beast stumbled into it because he's passionate about YouTube, and then YouTube, I think by proxy, just made him famous, as opposed to like being passionate about something, and then that something ends up making you famous, as opposed to just like, I gotta be famous. What have I gotta do? Anonymity has its benefits. Yeah, I mean, if I could be in a cave doing all this work and still get work in and still get the opportunities that doing this creates, I do it in a heartbeat. But it's like you do it because it's like it's a part of the game. You kind of gotta play. Connecting and loving kids where they don't need attention. And it's the phones, the iPads, man. It's just like I even catch myself being like a little too deep into like TikTok or YouTube sometimes, and I'm like, man, I gotta like go for a walk and just unplug for a bit. Because it's so easy that it's like attention's the name of the game, and if you're able to hold the attention, you win. So everything is hyper optimized so that that happens. We did, by the way. We officially cleaned everything up. Kitchen fixed. Sagatak. God, that was loud. Take that. Oh, right. It's home early. That. It's clean. Black bars on top. Yeah, we're good. Should yeah, okay. Only took an hour to do. This one, there's just a really nasty flickering going on over here because it's LEDs, and when you're shooting with video, you have you shoot in a shutter, more or less a shutter speed that is kind of hard stuck. Like if you're shooting 60 frames per second, you're usually shooting double the thing. Let me close my door. Like if you're shooting 60 frames per second, your shutter speed is 1/20. Like that's pretty much the standard. You're only going to vary it with if you're like stylistically like kind of know what you're doing here. This like tanks my thing. But with that, LEDs usually have a frequency to them, and so they tend to flicker when you're looking at it through the video. And so you kind of have to go through and add a deflicker over the top of it to make sure that it's not there.
Project. It was important to the clients.
I frame it LED, yay. Yeah, it's oh man, it's a big problem, especially with like hospitals nowadays, I think, and commercial work. It's that's kind of like the standard is like the energy efficient standard is to use those lights, but then that creates a ton of problems in afterwards in order to actually make that shot usable and not super distracting. So, go here. It's pretty close. Projector screens. This concert. Oh yeah. Never thought about that. Big old LED screens. Can it fix it if internal deflickering? Soft and a little bit more. Because I don't want that, so I honestly just mask it. Yeah, and then that's going to give us a much cleaner. Look, it's like a pain ass is doing this is. I think it's worth it. Because the kitchen shots are so good. Lighting wise, we had that big ol' what is that flower? Is that a hydrangea? I think it's a hydrangea. I think just like it's a great shot, or is it great? I think just like space. So it is kind of worth putting in that little extra effort to kind of make sure it's getting the appreciation it deserves. Better.
Beautiful.
Wood's finished. Now we have to go through and also do the VFX fill over here. Yeah. Yeah, commit to it. Global shutter. To 1/119.9. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, if there's a way to fix that, I shouldn't be exporting this whole thing. What are we doing? Do that. Right? Yeah. FX. Go to raw. Oh, not a shape layer. See enough to do. Might as well just do it. If it wasn't a white flat wall with not a lot of dynamic lighting on it, I don't think we could. Alright, perfect frame. Generative fill. Easy peasy. Huh? Oh, because it's generating off of... Whoops. Why is that? Okay, well, I'm going to delete that. Have to do this the old-fashioned way. Gotta love Adobe. Holy smokes. Working as intended. bit. That's our reference image. Reference frame. There we go. One second.
This project kind of embodies the true nature of quiet architecture. You know, buildings can be subservient and quiet in the place that they are, but still carry a level of confidence about themselves and be good stewards to their context. When we came out, they had excavated to about 70 feet deep. The floor was below the floodplain and the cave was full of water. They didn't really know what they wanted per se, other than the fact that they had the idea of storing their wine collection kind of underground.
We discovered a more poetic version of what they wanted. You know, if the client had the ability or the skills to design the project themselves, they wouldn't need us. We're the kind of instrument, the tool, so to speak, to help them visualize and realize that.
We landed on a solution that was really simple. The program was just the essentials. The big luxury here is that there's a little bathroom.
You have this huge variable, which is the cave. It's a little daunting at first. Instantly, you know there's going to be some issues that have to be resolved. The cave is not a nice, smooth dimension. It's not even all the way from front to back. And so we were working with a new technology, at least a new technology available to architects, which gave us the ability to kind of laser measure everything.
It allowed us to kind of scribe fit the insertion. I kind of always have likened the project to building a ship in a bottle. That wooden box kind of ship in a bottle idea is purposefully kept away from the sides of the cave. And that way you can kind of feel the contrast of kind of the warmer woods that are surrounding us and the profile of the cave.
All of that is intended to not only bring up the color temperature, right, which is really important, but elicit this kind of response to organic materials that if it's just concrete and stone, right, you're missing that kind of fundamental connection to something that was alive.
Most of the features of the cave we wanted to accentuate, so grazing light that can hit the cave walls in a nice, elegant way.
With the lighting, there's two strategies because there's two objects. One is the cave itself. The other object is everything we built inside the cave, the architecture. If you think about it that way, then the lighting can actually reflect that as well.
Building on some incredibly pretty sites. Part of our job is to not screw that up. So the natural environment is the lead actor, and this cave is kind of a quiet building. When you're a guest, you have no idea what you're getting into. There's a short stroll from the ranch house, they walk across the river, people are coming up and you can't see it. It's completely stealth. It doesn't need to shout for attention, it's humble, but it feels like you can't imagine it not being here.
Doc. More things to do. Hello, Ralph. Thanks for joining. We are wrapping up. Here, we'll go to the actual house, sir. Shoot. Architecture film for a client, and we're on the home stretch. It's just a lot of like really tiny things that we need to do. Which is probably like the easiest and most annoying part of this whole process, when you just get down to like all the nitty-gritty little details. Ralph, thank you for the follow as well. Much appreciated. Okay, 245. Add saturation. Doop. Good. Been kind of cooking on this project for a while, so it's going to be exciting to finally get it out there. But even that might not happen for a while. Like what tends to happen, so like we're doing this for the architect of this home who designed the home, and with projects like this, what's usually going to happen is they're going to submit it to a handful of like architecture design publication magazines, and those magazines want to see exclusivity rights to like the first to post type of thing, and their backlog is crazy big. And so what happens more often than not is like we finish all this stuff and then we sit on the final videos for about 9 months and then the magazine publishes it, and then we can actually publish the whole thing. And colors. That. Do that. Some of these. Organize this a little bit. This is useless. So we're looking to get rid of these little beads. A bit tough. This one just behind leaf. Bring it with. And this is probably the trick. Whenever a client asks to take this stuff out, it's always like a asterisk, you know, maybe. If a program cooperates, we're cooking. If it doesn't, like, it's best just to leave it alone, because if you try to take it out and it doesn't work and it doesn't look good, it's oftentimes way more distracting than just keeping the little bit of vents in the actual image. Curious how it's gonna manage with this leaf here. Actually, don't do the leaf. Down low. Oh, that did okay. This works, I will be shocked. hello, Saria. How are you doing? Appreciate you popping in. Okay. Right.
And really utilize to design around.
Yeah, okay. That one's good. This one should need like little to no. Yeah, that one's fine. Okay. Now we gotta make a reference frame. Downside at doing the final details. It's like we're zoomed in to like 10 pixels total. Like we're really getting down to like the nitty-gritty details. For better or for worse. Probably not the most engaging viewer experience, but here we are. Okay, that's like a little Banjo-Kazooie soft stop. Because a lot of this stuff we're doing is so small, we do kind of have flexibility with it being like a little bit janky. So like the fact that this leaf is like a little clunky, like I think it's gonna be fine. Save it. And now is a good time the program to run it. Shock. I don't have water. So if it doesn't work on the vent, we may have to actually adjust the shot to come in later so that it's not concealed by the leaf, because that's going to be the biggest issue here. So like for shot, it's not bad. It's a little jank, but it's a lot better than I thought it would be. So, and this one I imagine is perfectly fine. Yeah, surprise, surprise. Okay. So what I think we do is we don't have any alpha expansion. What that basically is saying is it'll take information a little bit around the mask and bring that into like what it's doing its fill on. But in this case, because it's like we're up against that leaf, I don't think we do that. I think we just say, just take what I'm giving you, do it, run it, call it a day.
Utilize to design around.
Don't find that. Yeah, I think that works. So again, it's a little bit of jank. But because it's like far away, it just looks like it's a part of the concrete texture. Fixed. Render. hate that sound so much. Get rid of some of these programs here. Fixed. Up.
Really utilize.
Right. Right. There's no black frame at the last frame. No, we're cooking. Is good. Proxy this. So biggest thing I think I kind of want to do now, 'cause it's like all the piddly shit is done. Back shot, shaky. That's fine. Pretty apparent.
She
There. Why is it red? Like, you know where it is. I don't understand. There we go. Sounds good. Do you need to have like a denoise pass going through here? And bad boy in too. I think it's fine that it's just there.
we're trying to.
We don't like the because we don't like the dock here, but I don't know, you kind of take away too much, then it starts to be like a bad shot. Like, what is the shot composition outweigh the fact that we just don't like the fucking dock here? And I think we're chilling with this. I think this is fine. Okay. Last and final thing, I think together we do have it. Okay. I think we're chilling. I think
The
the
idea here,
biggest thing is just going to be a denoise pass. So we're kind of going through all the footage and we're putting with raw, it tends to shoot a little bit grainy. Some people like that. I personally don't. I think it looks bad. So what I like to do is we're just going to go through over the top and just add a little bit of denoise to every single shot. And what that's going to do is pretty much it's going to take down the graininess from said shot. I think most of them don't need a ton. It's just like a little sprinkle, just to kind of bring it together. That one's already got it. A lot of the night shots already kind of automatically have it together. Once this is done, we'll export it, and I'm gonna have to go eat. This needs the roof redone. It's fine. That could use a little bit of love. But it's just a light touch. We really don't want to go over the top here. This, we kind of want to shift. Okay. That's right. I think we need a mask on the home. Also, shot just contrast. It's a little bit washed out. Need one. It's adding much. I think just adding that contrast does wonders for us.
The datum as you immerse yourself in the landscape.
Light here and there. Done. That. Do that. Okay. I can start. Our Instagram live is done. All right. Everything else is still up and running, right? Yeah, it's just Instagram that I have issues with for some reason, which kind of sucks. That's kind of like where my primary follow base is. And then for it to just kind of implode whenever it wants, or I guess after 2.5 hours, it's just kicking me off at that point.
from bedroom to the public space to the dining and kitchen. Room to the public space to the living, dining, and kitchen.
That works. Does feel washed out. So it honestly could drop a touch too. Just a little too bright. The denoise. This is also not vertical. To go through and do these two. Okay. Do you think I'm gonna call it there for the day? I have to go eat since yesterday. So we're doing intermittent fasting. But appreciate y'all for joining. And we'll catch you next time.